Howdy friends, family and other creatures of the sea, and welcome back to a high-level best of 3 between ByuN here in the top left spawning as our red Terran player, and in the bottom right as the blues are playing for Shopify Rebellion as well. It's going to be a Scarlett. Cheeky little team kill over here as ByuN is opening up with a multi-racks proxy. So far he seems to be leaning towards 3. Still possible that we'll get a 4th barracks, although somewhat unlikely. This is an insane position as well, by the way. This is so ridiculously close to the opponent. Like, it actually kind of hurt me in a way, you know? Just looking at this. That is pretty crazy. 3rd barracks gets proxied a little bit further back. So if this gets spotted by an overlord, Scarlett will only think of this as maybe a 2-racks proxy. And that might change the response that she has to this particular build order. Now, the Urubu is already watching this. Little idiot. Oh, 2 barracks. That's interesting. As the overlord now pops in. It's going to spot it, but it's going to spot it too late for any type of serious response, right? You can't drone pool anymore to cancel potential barracks because the barracks are already done. Marine is now going to be on the way. Now, the one thing that can happen is that the next larva, which usually would still be turned into a drone, will not be turned into a drone, is what I was going to say, but it does get turned into a drone, so that is interesting. I thought you'd want to keep that alive maybe for, well, another drone. 2nd gas. Oh, okay. So Scarlett here is going for a Roach response. These responses are really quite rare, I'd say. You don't see this a whole lot. This is a consistent response. That is the one thing that it is, okay? The moment you have your Roaches out, the game is going to play out fairly similar majority of the time, unless you completely miss micro. Well, for ByuN, as he opened up with a very late 1st gas, might actually be in a little bit of trouble. Usually the rule is Roach responses against 3 racks and non-Roach responses against 2 racks. As ByuN needs to realize quickly what's kicking off here. Lings are popping out. 1 Marine gets taken out. As a single Ling has also died. Now, this base is obviously going to die. Like, I know, we all know that that's the case, okay? But that's not what Scarlett is after here. Scarlett is not after keeping the natural alive. Scarlett wants to move across the map at some point with a bunch of Roaches and start fighting these depots. Oh, barracks lift could potentially take out this overlord. This Roach is going to turn into a Ravager now, blocking one of the queens into an unfortunate position. 2nd bunker on the way. As 2 more Ravagers get morphed, bringing the total up to 3. We have a tech lab being started here. ByuN is actually kind of committing to this build, saying, hey, I don't want to expand into a natural. I actually want to just... Ooh, concussive shells and marauders. I was gonna say either combat shield or stim. Stim being the most likely option, but it's not the case at all here. Of course, BIOS can connect with this bunker from a very far away distance, which is what's happening here indeed. Gonna need a couple more of those Ravagers though to deal some real damage to this bunker. SCVs need to move away. 1 SCV does get taken out. Ooh, Overlord's in a little bit of trouble. 1 Ravager kind of low on HP. Does get transfused barely in time. Yeah, this bunker is in serious trouble. Gets taken out here. Queen will die as well. 1 Ravager, 1 Queen have fallen so far. As the 1st Marauder with concussive is now out, and that means that this Ravager most likely is just going to be in some more trouble. This is like a never-ending contain that ByuN is going for. It's a nice little scan on the high ground as well as he continues his chase. He's going to be targeted down now though, trying to escape from this position. This feels good for Scarlett, I think. Like 4 Ravagers, 2 Roach against 9 Marine, 2 Marauder. Getting down the ramp, though, is a difficult task, given that there's concussive shell. Don't forget, Stim could start, and indeed it does start. It's going to make things a little bit harder, because the moment Stim finishes up, all of a sudden these Roaches aren't quite as great anymore. Once again, Scarlett just trying to get any bile damage that she can. Not really hitting anything. Baling Nest? This is all the tech you can get on hatchery tech. Watch her get into a lair at this point. But a Hydra then. One base lurker. Swarm host. Hey, technically swarm host wouldn't be bad. You know, you get 2-3 swarm host out. Listen to this. 2-3 swarm host. You just keep sending them. Even if you just do a little bit of damage, there's no medevacs, right? I mean, I know it's not realistic, but theoretically, this could be a fort barracks. No CC, just a fort barracks instead. Wow. Scarlett's going to scout whether there's a natural or not. As this is going to be a bailing bust. Bailing busting out of your own natural. That's something we don't see very often anymore. 9 Banes. 5 Ravagers. 6 Ravagers, sorry. 3 Queens. This army's made its way downstairs now. Here come the Banes. Here come the Biles. 1, 2, 3, 4. Poof, poof, poof. Bunkers get taken out. Stim finishing up in about 4 seconds. It's going to be a couple of scary seconds. CC has been built now on the low ground here. ByuN is going to continue his contain, but he just moves it down a step. No, he gets chased off the stairs. But luckily there's multiple stairs here. Standing at the bottom. Can't walk through this little choke here. Can you? Scarlett says yes. ByuN says no. 8 Marauders, 19 Marines. Slow bailings off creep. That's what we like to call ByuN's specialty. Alright. ByuN lives for this type of stuff. Absolutely. Targeting down 4 or 5 Banes. Yeah, that's high tier. He's good at that. Creep Tumor gets taken out. Bile does not get any connections there. High ground scan actually kind of helping out. 23 workers to 27. ByuN is ahead in that worker count. A pretty significant amount as well, so it has a fast orbital command now coming in. Scarlett's going to struggle to ever take this low ground, I think. Combat shield could be a decently sized game changer. Nice control. Don't forget, the moment a stim gets activated, the push pretty much ends. You can't activate a stim here because there's no medevacs. Combat shields get taken out before the research finishes. ByuN does not have the confidence in this army to continue going. This barracks will most likely fall without getting any real information. 2 bunkers being built. 3 bunkers. Defensive bunkers. Starport on the way now. So all barracks make their way back home. Except for the one that tried going in for a little bit of a scout. Rocks do get taken out. There's a 3rd base on the way. Double Evo chamber. I'm not so sure what I think of that. There's such a large bio force already that I almost would say, hey, how about we just get a slightly quicker bailing speed here? You know, just tech into layer and take it from there. Like, upgrades are great to have, don't get me wrong, but it does feel like it is kind of inevitable that a medevac push is going to move across the map. And I think I'd rather be on my way to bailing speed than on my way to +1. Scarlett taking out as many rocks as she can at this point. So there's 4 bunkers defensively. That's a pretty serious effort there. It really is. Serious defensive effort. It's such a weird army composition. I don't think I've ever quite seen a game like this, honestly. Like with just a 3-rex opener into a 3-rex follow-up, kind of. Into another bunker contain, into... It's just never ending, you know? It's really just never ending. It's kind of odd. I thought I saw an eBay produce here. Might have finished already. Yeah, double eBays actually coming out for ByuN. 45 workers to 47. Creep spread for Scarlett is magnificent. Doesn't really have much else though, as the overlords are going to spot this. They should not deal any damage at all. And it won't. Spore gets constructed in the main base. Layer is now done. We have centrifugal hooks coming in. Now, centrifugal hooks is going to finish up before the first tank push is going to hit. If there were to be a tank push, this is actually a reactor, not a tech lab. I thought it was a tech lab for sure. Fort hatchery on the way now. This is all single creep tumor work, by the way. Look at that. Single lane here, single lane here. Boom, boom. Like, this is 4 or 5 tumors, and it's magnificent creep spread. It really is. Very, very good stuff. ByuN has kind of calmed down and can't really do very much. Combat shield does end up finishing up here. These 16 marines now. Perhaps a little bit more ballsy. Stim in. Take out a queen. Might take out a ravager or two as well. Yep, there we go. 2 ravagers. Loses 1 marine. Kills a queen. Very good trade here for our Korean Terran player. Cheeky little scan forward. It's going to take out 2 active tumors and 2 non-active tumors. If there's only 4 active tumors and you take out 2, that is a pretty significant deal. +2 carapace already. Scarlett really fast with the upgrades. Down in everything, but fast upgrades. It's an absolute fact. Queen count is super low as well, only at 4. Had to save money wherever she could. This little drop is going to re-drop over here. Rocks here are gone. It's going to make it easy to set up a flank onto this army. Baneling count fairly low though. Needs to be careful. A bunch of links up top. No Banes with that army. Infestation pit on the way already. It means we're going to see a fast hive, maybe into an ultra cavern. What are the plans here for ByuN? We see an armory coming down. We have 5 barracks, no fort base quite yet. ByuN continues pushing in forward. This hive has started together with the fort base here for the Terran. This is a very uncommon game. Like, with how passive ByuN is playing, just kind of staying on the edge of creep the entire time. I'm not even sure if he's that far ahead that he can really play like this. Decent enough pickup. Not a whole lot happening in this game. Really not a whole lot happening. It's an interesting start, but now we're just waiting for it to truly, for the fireworks to start once more. Mines are being spread out. Pretty low pace as well. Double medevacs here and moving down. Can you get a cheeky little stim? No, we can't. Marines are fairly low on health as well. Up here, there's only 3 medevacs. Baneling count's getting higher and higher. Marauders in front of the tank. Carapace level 2 is about to finish up, and that is a fairly important upgrade here that I think Scarlett is going to be waiting for. The double drop ahead into the 5th base location will be cleaned up by Banelings most likely. At the same time, we have an attack. Mines getting biled down. This force got completely destroyed. Scarlett will now move a bunch of these Links and Banes back towards the main army that is trying to deal with this rather difficult push that ByuN is setting up. Biles are so good against mines though. I think such a nice little spell to have. Just taking out these mines from a distance. Don't have to get in range. Don't need overseers necessarily. Adrenal glands now on the way. 3-3 starting. As well as an ultra cavern. So it is going to be ultralisk here for Scarlett off of that hive. No Vipers being built. Still on a low drone count. Which means that ideally she's trading as little as possible. Until these ultras are out. And then I think you can really start adding in... Oh, hold that thought. This is a pretty decent trade here for Scarlett. No overseer. Yeah, until you can get that worker count that you truly need, I think life's just going to suck. Overseer should be kind of sent over to this general area. Do we have OV speed? No, we don't. That means it might take a while. We might actually get a second shot from some of these mines, which would be very unfortunate. Scarlett did a good job dealing with those initially, but now needs to probably move outside of their range. Unless she's feeling like dying here. Yep, there comes a big shot. It's going to take out 6-7 units. Here comes a push out of ByuN. Banelings don't quite get the connections, and mines do get pretty decent connections. Very frustrating here for Scarlett, who was so patient. Has a lot of cash in the bank, by the way. Can you just mention that? 1100 minerals, 300 gas. Waiting for those ultras perhaps, but is lacking the gas count. Needs to get gas 7 and 8, I think, at some point in the future. As here comes a good engagement for the Zerg player. As the Marines are being forced onto creep. That is never a situation in which the Marines want to be in. Full pickup here has been utilized. Forced into it, really. 2 good trades in a row here for Scarlett, and that means a little bit of breathing room. We see 4 drones being built immediately. I'd love to see these gases. Our first Ultra coming out. This Chitinous plating stars as well. Like, These are the things that Scarlett really needs to invest in right now, and she is investing into it. It's still such a hard situation, though, just given the fact that there's only 71 workers for a Zerg player 15 minutes in, you know? That is genuinely not very good. These Marines will be forced to pick up once more. I think Vipers would be a great help here as well, but the gas is not there. Baneling's now moving forward, trying to get connections with Marines. They get a couple of connections, but no way that relationship is going to last. More links are moving in right now. No mines to help out. That means this will get cleaned up. Adrenal glands putting in some serious work there, as these Marines are not being microed at all and take some big hits to the face. Kind of a blunder there out of ByuN. Once again, giving Scarlett more breathing room. Scarlett immediately uses that just to sprinkle in a couple more drones. 8 drones being built here right now. Chitin is about to finish up. The Marauder count is at 9. And really the only thing that we're lacking right now for Scarlett is a Viper or 2. Vipers would be freaking huge to have at this point. Absolutely massive to have around. Just being capable of dealing with these air units in some type of way is huge, because now every time these pickups are so annoying to deal with. I just love to see just a single Viper, one parasitic bomb could really throw a wrench in the plans of ByuN. Now the supply has evened up. The worker count for Scarlett is looking better than it ever has in this entire game so far. There is no 5th base up yet for ByuN either, who just now is getting his extra barracks. As Scarlett is winning another fight in the middle of the map. Well, winning. Yeah, winning. Winning another fight in the middle of the map for sure. These medevacs are forced to come home. And ByuN seems to have a lot of supply right now, but he has 15 medevacs. 1-5. He has personal healing for most of his Marines at this point. Some of them have to share. But that is a crap ton of medevacs that don't really contribute anything to the damage output of this army. Infestors being added on into the comp rather than Vipers. That is an odd call. It's a call you don't see a whole lot, but it's a call that is being made right now. Here come the Lynx, here come the Ultra, here come the Ravagers in the back. Ooh, mine's detonating from quite a distance. As an 8 Marine drop is going to straight up send itself into its death by walking into the Spore. Yeah, Queen is going to help out as well. Base might actually end up falling here, which would be frustrating. It's quite a bit of mining that the Zerg player will end up losing here. Ultra needs to move in, perhaps. Lynx, how much damage do they take against the mines? Not a whole lot, as the Ultra is desperately trying to get a couple of cleaves in over here. Still some Marines in that medevac, but I don't think they're, you know, they pity that too much. It's not like they're worried. It's like, oh no, I wish I was downstairs getting mauled by freaking... What? How tall is this? Like a 10-meter massive space cow. Is that what you call it? Is it 10? Yeah, it's less larger maybe even. I think it looks freaking huge. Colossal unit. Colossal unit. So Liberator's adding quite some DPS into this army. Don't forget, Liberator is the highest damage, the highest DPS unit in the entire game. So having a couple of those is always going to be helpful. Ravagers will take care of this bad boy though, as Scarlett actually kind of continues the march on. Still a lot of medevacs in this army comp. His new Liberators will siege up once more. As long as there's no 5th base set up, I don't really think there's any point for Scarlett to try and move out the fight off creep. 5th base usually is kind of that turning point in the matchup. If Terran gets the 5th base set up consistently, and they don't lose it, it doesn't get busted down, you're usually moving into late game territory. And that means Ghost, and that means a very difficult time for Zerg generally. Pneumatized Carapace is on the way here. More Liberators are being sent in as well. Here we go, another scan forward. 2 more mines. This is a nice siege up location as well to have. You know, you have 6, 7 mines, a couple of libs in there. Ultra is going to move in now and actually tanking some of that lib damage. Oh no, come on, go for the SCVs. Not for the Marauders. I think targeting the workers there would have been the superior play. The question now is, how is Scarlett going to deal with higher Liberator numbers, you know? At the moment it's only 2 or 3, maybe 4, but what once there's 6, 7, maybe 8 Liberators? You're gonna need some type of anti-air. Are Corruptors a viable option? Perhaps they are. For now though, that's not going to be much of an issue as... well, let's face it, Scarlett has a perfect army to deal with ByuN's army. 5th base has gone up, mules are mining from there. Plus see a couple of these fungals finally hit something. A significant portion of the army gets split off here towards the top side. Lots of marauders in there as well. This is going to get blasted. Mine's going to get taken out, as Liberator will stay alive for now, but is perhaps going to be in a little bit of trouble. A couple more of these Ravagers piling down that lid. Stays alive though, ever so barely. Moving through those Liberator zones, no mines to back this army up. Both of the Liberators will fall, even trades all around. That is in supply, but actually also in resources. Scarlett doing a fantastic job just making sure that the efficiency of the army remains good. As once again, a fight won here for Scarlett, I think. ByuN's trying to connect with something. I think might have hit half a medevac over there. New fungalers being put in here. There is no pathogen glands, which means that these infestors are going to spawn with just 50 energy. The Ling Ultra managed to clean up the topside army. Once again, this base in a little bit of trouble. Spore's not quite in position to deal with this. At the same time, ByuN decides to move on creep as he takes out another queen. New Banes are being morphed in. Ravagers need to deal with this Liberator. Can they? One more hit. Yep, there we go. That's another dead Liberator as this Lib is shooting hard on this Ultra. Ultra will get taken out. Burns to death. Mines don't get any major connections. 135 supply to 124. How slow the mid-game was. Well, actually, this is kind of still the mid-game, isn't it? The early part of the mid-game were so freaking slow. And now this, I feel like we've literally been fighting for the past 8 minutes or so. Just constant back and forth action on creep, off creep. Well, there's creep practically everywhere except on this bottom side. Fungal doesn't quite get the connection. Oh, these medevacs are so darn low as well. This is really one good fungal away from all dying, but the infestor is too slow with its tiny little legs. Does not quite get the hits that they want. These mines could be dangerous here for Scarlett. ByuNs are going to connect from a distance. Mines still get the hits though. Scarlett being impatient there and needs to pay a price for that. Fungals did not quite connect, I don't think so at least, as this drop is going to get, well, pretty much cleaned up here. Spore, no, Queen. Oh, Queen barely doesn't get the kill, but ByuN did manage to get the kill in the middle of the map. And will once again secure a supply lead in this game as Scarlett is floating 1900 gas. If only she had a Templar Archive right now, a couple of Archons would make a huge difference. Well, given that she would have picked Protoss at the start of the game. Probably would have looked fairly different then. But that's a worry for another time. Mines being rallied, perhaps a bit too far forward. No, Scarlett doesn't quite catch it. These medevacs are so low. A single fungal, a single parasitic bomb would do absolute wonders. Look at this bad boy. 2 HP left remaining in it. Like, this is just painful to watch. The fact that there hasn't been a single Viper in this game actually annoys me a little bit. I feel like it's such a powerful unit. Like, such a big use as well. Especially when the medevac count is a bit lower like right now. But even when it's higher, then it's harder to micro the medevac. Oh my god, this is... You can't be serious. You can't actually be sending out this drop right ByuN. No, you can't. Come on, you actually can't. 6 Marines in a medevac with 2 HP. That is asking for trouble. This army is fairly overstimmed. Especially some of these Marauders are in trouble. There's about 7-8 supply right now in medevacs. This medevac with 3 Marines going to make its way towards the top side. SCVs here just distracting the Ultra, doing a pretty good job. Mines connecting with all of the links in a very big way. There is no fungal available right now on these infestors, and that means that Bane Ultra, well, is not going to be such a marvelous composition here. Income, however, very favored for Scarlett. Still 2400 minerals a minute against 1100. Every second that she survives is a brilliant second right now. This base is absolutely key for her survival. This bad boy is mining out for ByuN. This one's practically mined out. There's nothing here. Not even quite sure what happened there, but there used to be a base there once a very long time ago. A town called Kickapoo. Now, there's 4 fungals available. There is 76 army supply against 112, 118. Vipers finally starting here. I think this could be a real game changer. That is if they arrive in time, because this is the base that matters the most. I almost feel like Scarlett should give it up. No, she says, I'm not going to give it up. I'm coming in with a flank. Fungals are connecting for the first time in this entire game. Lynx dying to mines. Ultras dying to Marauders. Another fungal connects in a big way. And I think Scarlett might have barely done it? No? does not have a lot of army remaining. Oh no, medevacs all empty, all pretty far into the yellow or even into the orange. One of these bad boys even into the red. This base is most likely going to die as we see the evacuation move coming here. Despite this, I still believe that that Scarlett is in an okay position eco-wise. Can start mining from this bottom side base again. The problem now is that the main base from ByuN has flown over to this 6th base location. And once the mules drop over here, that's going to give a massive influx of money. Mine gets a connection. Wait, there's no armory anymore. That means that these mines don't remain invisible any longer. I mean, Vipers are here. There's infestors around. This is a difficult to control army for Zerg, but it's a freaking powerful army for the Zerg as well. Let's not forget about that. Like, any point you have infestors and Vipers, that is a beautiful combination that you have to see it. Absolutely. 2 Ultras being constructed here. We have 26 links coming in as well. All right, here we go. Can we get some fungals? Can we get some fungals right about now? Not so sure, actually. I'd like to see it. 114 supply to 121. I think it is ByuN who's wanting to play it safe and wanting to play it slow at this point. You know, he's just gonna saturate this base with a bunch of SCVs. Definitely has some muling available now. Don't quite understand what we're waiting for, but it is what it is. Parasitic Bomb's going to connect with one of these lips. Gonna make it a lot harder for these lips to come back later on. Especially for this one, as it might just end up dying. It's gonna be pretty close at least. No, survives with 15 HP. So the next hatchery here has gone down. Good lord, what a game. Good lord, what a game. Burrow on the way as well here for Scarlett. We still have none of these mules being used, which is surprising. You could say perhaps for scans, but I think getting a turret would be a cheaper solution than randomly scanning this area every 5 minutes or every 25 or 30 seconds. Scarlett ready to saturate this bottom side base. Changeling moving in is gonna get killed by a mine shot. Actually a good way to clear mines as well. If they haven't turned into Terran units yet, it's a fantastic way to clear mines. Baling count is at 16. Ultra count is at 4. 2 infestors, 2 Vipers. No ghost, of course, which means that the Vipers pretty much are good to go at any point. They can throw in whatever they want. This is a tricky engagement to manage, though, for Scarlett. As Parasitic Bombs are connecting with Liberators. Fungals not quite hitting. Oh, never mind. Big Fungal are hitting the top side. GG gets called as Scarlett wins this game after an insane 3-Rex opener that went into a 3-Rex follow-up. That went into one of the most exciting games that I've seen in a long time. Low eco, constant fighting. As Scarlett is up 1-0 in his best of 3. I really freaking love that type of game that we just had. You know, it kind of felt like a never-ending mid-game where both players are too afraid to truly kind of turtle up, because any amount of drones or any amount of workers that you build, you know, could be the last workers that you build. It could have been units that you needed right in that moment. So it's just beautiful StarCraft. I think it's really fun as well to see a game play out with fairly little queens. Like, there was no queens really active at all on the map because Scarlett started with 4 queens initially and never really built any extra, like maybe replaced 1 or 2 later on in the game or to add to newer hatcheries, but it wasn't the standard 8 or 9 queen squad that is lurking around the map like we usually see. And yeah, it was freaking fun. That is it's just the best StarCraft. Mid-game StarCraft is the best StarCraft. Like, I don't necessarily love playing it. Well, I like playing it. I'm just not so good at it. But just these active games in which a lot happens. Like, this is a treat to freaking watch. It really is. As ByuN is opening up with a Reaper first here into, well, 2 more Reapers. It's going to be his copyrighted 3 Reaper opener that he's been playing a crap ton against Zerg. Really just a metric crap ton of this particular opener in this matchup. Usually follows it up with either a 3-Rex, 4-Rex, 2-on-1 type of build into triple CC. He really has a lot of different types of follow-ups. This time it does seem like he's adding a 3rd Rex in, maybe even a 4th barracks. No, not quite the case. Could just go for a 2-base all-in off of this. We have seen that as well, of course, in the past. I think it's going to be a 4th Rex. Yeah, here we go. Yeah, that SCV was it was walking in a weird way. You know, to me it seemed like it was a bit confused. So far, ByuN actually hasn't dealt any damage at all with 3 Reapers, and it is a pretty significant investment, so that is surprising. You'd figure that he'd want to deal more damage with this, like commit a little bit harder. Hasn't really taken out any of these queens, hasn't taken out any links either. Scarlett in a good spot right now, really in a good spot. Metabolic boost about to finish up as well. It's going to be 8 links with link speed. It's not enough, but it's a start. I think ideally you have like 14 links. You can be pretty secure in 14 links taking out 3 Reapers, even if those Reapers are being microed by ByuN. And we have 4 Marines at a time being produced, and that's going to be a little bit harder, or a little bit higher, once this barracks also joins in on the fun. Combat shield will start soon as well. Let's look at all these Marines just being positioned to deny any potential scouting. That's a key concept here with this build order, is that it's so difficult for Zerg to figure out what is actually happening until it is too late. Now, the Reapers made their way back home. Usually they kind of stand either in front or just barely behind to kind of cover that tech lab, because this tech lab is such a vulnerable little thing here. Absolutely vulnerable. Reapers actually moving out quite aggressively. Scarlett does not have the guts here to go for the surround. As more drones are being produced. No Baneling Nest quite yet. 3 more queens on the way. Needs to be very careful. Without Banelings, this can be hard to hold. Fort Barracks does add maybe 3-4 Marines, and those 3-4 Marines definitely do pack a punch. Scarlett once again trying to go in here for a surround, but these Reapers are being guarded by a lot of Marines as well. And here comes the move out. Here comes the move out. It is... Oh my god. That's an SCV pool. Alright. Alright. So a very different... This is a crazy build to do as well in game number 2 versus someone that you're generally considered favored against if you're down 1-0. This is a build you do when you're up 1-0, but ByuN says, no, you know what? I'm just gonna go for it. Stim, combat shield, a crap ton of SCVs here. These are a lot of Marines. Stims forward aggressively. SCVs can tank a lot of the link damage, perhaps hold position a bit as well. Drones being pulled off the line. Well, actually, more being sent around, trying to get in there for a surround on the Marines. It's not gonna work. There's too many units. 5 Marines being produced at a time behind this as well. So this is not the last push that ByuN is going for. No. There is more to come for sure. 14 workers have gone down already, so have 12 workers though on the side of ByuN. Scarlett is trying to get a Baneling Nest out, is trying to keep some of these links alive, but only on 24 army supply at the moment. 20 more links on the way. Baneling Nest still not quite done. A lot of these Marines are kind of in the red, are in the orange. We have another hatchery coming up. I mean, if Scarlett survives, she is fine, right? 100%. Unless she loses every single worker in the main as well, but that seems unlikely. Oh, here we go. Lynx not quite participating in the fight. No Banelings here either. I think this is just going to be a GG gets called. And ByuN takes the game in 6 minutes, while Scarlett took 28 for that game number 1. Game number 3 here will be played on Grassvan. I've mentioned this before many times, but it often does kind of feel... I don't want to say unfair, because I know that it's completely fair, but it just bothers me that that first game is as valuable as that second game, you know? Like, I know StarCraft 2 is a strategy game, but that first game, it was worked for, you know? It's like love was put in there, you know? You could see it. That game had everything, and then that second game, it was an SCV pool with Marines. Hey, it's a cool strategy, don't get me wrong. It's like, woohoo. Now I got a thumbnail as well again for my video, you know. So, oh, the boys are being pulled. You know, people get excited. People love cheese. But that first game, that was art almost. You know, not almost. It was art. Yeah, if you put that one next to some of Van Gogh's paintings, and I bet you people would be watching that game for longer than any of the stuff that Van Gogh has produced. Or Van Gogh, as people who mispronounce it would say it. Like that, it had everything, you know. And now both have 1 point on the board. I would be frustrated, and I'd be making a complaint at the referee. Hello, ref. Is this really how you want your tournament to be run? Here I am providing, you know, high entertainment value for the fans. And all ByuN does is some lame SCV pool with a mediocre Reaper opener. This is how you're gonna, you know, This is how you're gonna reward us? Is this the incentives you wanna put on the table? No, of course not. It's messed up. This Reaper is doing significantly better than the Reapers did in the last game. This Reaper by himself has achieved more than 3 Reapers in the last game. It has to be sad for the Reapers in the last game as well. Poof, poof, poof. Well, 1 Ling has been taken. It's not like it's massive damage, but still, 1 Ling is 1 Ling. That's what they say, isn't it? Hello, can we get a tech lab and a reactor? ByuN's forgetting to macro here for a minute. Oh, wait, no. What is this? Straight into a factory. Ooh. That looks kind of cool. Really feel like he should be spending some of his cash, though. Yeah, okay, here we go. Start his reactor and tech lab, but fairly late, which is odd. Which is very odd. Command center is about to finish up. 3rd CC is on the way as well. But maybe this is all part of the grand plan of ByuN. Takes out a drone. That is the second thing. No, actually, he's taking out a fair amount here. 3 links, 1 drone. Metabolic boost finishes up. There's no creep either, which does help ByuN generally. I actually really like this build. I like watching it. I don't like the Marine SCV follow-up though. It's boring. You know, it ruins what potentially could have been a great game. But then again, if every game is great, is any game great? Yeah, actually, they'd still all be great. I think I'd rather watch games just like that first. Just constant. It's so good to watch. I really love StarCraft like that. High tier stuff. A little bit of an SCV cut here as well. ByuN is dropping the ball a little bit with the macro so far this game. Is following this up with a reactored factory. What in the world am I watching? No starport with this, but there's cash available. You think he forgot it? No way. I don't think he forgot it. Wait, did the Reapers die? Did they go back home? They went back home. We're gonna move on the map now with some cars. There's fairly little marine production. At least a little bit though. You're gonna get what? 2 sets of cars? You have a 3rd CC. And then you get medevacs. It's allowed. Like, it's not against the law. It's just a weird build order that I haven't quite caught before. These 2 Marines are so afraid right now. It's like this guy is so scared. He's moving his gun into the other guy's chest. Move! And the other... This is like people at a concert when they're trying to pretend that pushing into the fence is going to get them closer to the artist that they love. Let me just put my body up against the fence. And the people behind them are like, yes! I push into you to try even harder. Yeah, that's brilliant. It's going to be a Hellbat all-in. Oh, all-in. There's a 3rd CC. This is what we call dedicated treasure that needs to deal serious damage. And it will deal serious damage as well, I think. Like, I'm not so worried about that. It just seems weird all around, though, doesn't it? Hell... I'm not a fan of this push. I really am not. What am I a fan of, though? I'm a little bit of a hater these days. All I produce is hate, no love. Negativity, no positivity. That's my motto. Double eBay behind this, as well as 3 barracks. So this is really kind of like a power peak here for ByuN, you know? He's investing a lot in things behind this, but he has the maximum amount of units here for this initial push. There's a crap ton of queens, though, for Scarlett. 5 roaches coming out. Will not be in time to deal with this crap. Oh, that was a queen with 2 transfuses that just ended up dying there without using a single one. That's always painful when that happens. Hellbats are going to get targeted down. Scarlett does not get any drone damage. Has the links on the map. Could go for a run by towards the 3rd. Could also not do that. There's really many options here for Scarlett. Love to see maybe a spore in the main. Queens are moving to the main instead. So we have these roaches out and about. Canadians would say. It's just wild that they have an entire country filled with Canadians incapable of speaking proper English, despite it being their main language. It's the same. And then you also have the French Canadians who also are incapable of speaking their main language. Canada is a little bit like the idiotic little brother that America has, you know? Yeah, they kind of take them along everywhere. Maybe it can't properly do things yet. Yeah, you're 18 and your mom has to take your 15-year-old brother to some party. Like, that's not cool. That's Canada. That's Canada. How did I get there? God knows. Roaches coming out for Scarlett here. 64 workers, now 67, and now 3 more finish, so make that 70. A nice round number. 13 more roaches plus 1 range, glial reconstitution, and 1200 minerals in the bank. Now that is a lot of money. It really is a lot of cash. It's also a major supply block here for Scarlett. She is floating like her life depends on it. Holy crap. What is this? Are we just casually floating 1700 at the 8-minute mark? 8 overlords? Providing supply for an entire village. A city. I think Scarlett actually wanted to go for an all-in here, then decided, you know what, perhaps all-inning while floating 1800 minerals isn't it. Starts 3 hatcheries, well 2, this one just finished. Starts a baling nest, an infestation pit, and decides to transition. And I feel like this wasn't really planned, because then these buildings could have been plopped down quite a bit quicker. It was her realization that the macro wasn't on point here. Now these marines are moving in, taking out a queen. Get a major pickup here out of ByuN, as this base is once again in trouble. Are we gonna see a cancel? Yes, we will. Scarlett quick enough when it comes to that. There are spores in the main base already, as these 2 hatcheries now get scanned. 3rd hatchery is gonna be on the way here on that 5th base location. Scarlett actually still only on 3. Well, this is a 4th, I guess, but just barely on 4 base. This is a nasty location to defend as well. Tanks can get up there. Be very annoying dealing with your drones. But maybe ByuN has different plans. Doesn't actually have that many medevacs with this army, though. There's 3 medevacs up here. There's 2 medevacs down here. There's 3 tanks, though. That's a lot of tanks. It actually is a lot of tanks. Let's see how he positions them. Pops them into corners. Marines moving in, forward. Always have these corners against the edge of the plants, you know? There's a forest next to you. That's where you want to position your tanks. Like a wall or some rocks, boom, tank position. I think this is over. I actually think Scarlett lost. She doesn't have enough to deal with this. There's not enough really here either. Like, this push gets stopped, but the next Marine force gets kills. All the drones died. This is it. Yeah, this is all. That's it. No? 163 supply to 138. 2-2 is going to finish up for ByuN, which is going to make matters even worse. There's still double tank production rolling out as well over here. 4th base is done for ByuN. Can start adding his barracks. Hell, already has his barracks done practically. Vehicle weapons level 1 is done. 2 is halfway on the way there as well. Like, this is not looking good for Scarlett. It felt like this was a fine game to play, but all of a sudden, we're in a situation where Scarlett is freaking dead. And that is never good. This is one of the things you really want to stop from happening, is dying. Yeah, the 2 finishers up here. What's kicking off, mate? This base is gonna die. Back to 3 bases. Well, if Scarlett... No, she's gonna throw her army away. I mean, throw away, try to defend. GG gets caught. ByuN wins this series in 2 weird and kind of... Yeah, I don't know, just kind of sad games here. Loses the cool game and wins the sad games. That's a sad Terran there for you. I did manage to do it, though. Good control as well out of him, of course. Nice movement, but yeah. A little bit upset with how this ended. The start was great, and we kind of peaked early on in the movie. You never see that in romantic comedies, do you? And the best part of the movie is like the first 9 minutes. And you have this massive peak, like the climax of the movie. And from there on out, it's all just going downhill for the protagonist. It's never like that in romantic comedies. Never. But it was like this in this series here between ByuN and Scarlett, so make it out what you will. Vipers weren't done yet either. Well, all right, well, that's going to be it for me as well today, and for you guys too. There's no more videos here. Thanks so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed it. Hit like, subscribe, and I'll see you all next time. Adios.